I have been wanting to make this video for such a long time. I feel like a lot of you have been telling me that you really want to hear all the stories about our downstairs neighbor. So I feel like I want to give like some background information on where she came from, how we got here, how this situation occurred. So when Doug and I first moved into our first apartment together, it was this one that we're currently in. We moved in December of 2013. Yeah, December of 2013, we moved in here because it was really affordable. We happened to move in at a time when they didn't need you to put down like a security deposit and all that stuff. Very conveniently located, literally, like I can see Doug's school out our bedroom window. Literally, you just cross the street and you're at his school. So it's very, ideal location. It was close to work for me. Our lease was up and we were like, well, okay, let's just stay here one more year just to save a little bit more money so that we can get like a really nice apartment when our lease is up for the second time. And when we moved in here, I'm telling you, like in general, this apartment is so nice. Like the complex is so nice. It's very well kept. It's beautiful. It's centrally located. Okay, so we were supposed to move before we got married. We wanted to be in a bigger place before we got married so that, if we wanted to, we could have room for like, just in general, more space. We signed our lease for the second time, which was fine. We were okay with that. We were like, whatever, 2 years, no big deal. So then we got in our car accident and I lost my job. And so we had to sign the lease for the third time because I lost my job and I made a lot of money. So now I don't. So for unfortunate circumstances, we had to sign our lease for the third time. I don't even specifically remember when she moved in. It must have been, she had to have moved in when we signed like our third year, because before that we had really awesome neighbors. Like we never heard anyone above us. We never heard anyone below us except like maybe if they were vacuuming. Like otherwise we never heard anything. We have a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment. It's definitely not big enough for us anymore. It was perfect when we moved in. Okay, so by Florida law, you can only have 2 heartbeats per 1 bedroom, as quoted to me from our front desk because of all the times I have complained. So this downstairs neighbor, I'm not going to say her name, she moved in and it's her and then she has 2 little boys. How do you sleep 3 people in 1 bedroom is a good question to me, but that's not all, because for a long time, there were 4 people sleeping in a 1-bedroom apartment. And I would bring this up to the front desk all the time. I hate her. She is the most rude, disgusting, incompetent person. She's not even a person. She's like an actual monster is what she is, really. She's got to be between the ages of like 26 and 29, probably. Did I get lipstick all over my computer? This specific incident really like started everything for us. Like I said, it's a girl, okay? She got 2 kids. So at some point in her life, she was with a man twice. But for like many, many months, we would always see this other girl coming in and out of the apartment. We eventually figured out that the 2 of the girls were like dating. And so there was 4 people in this 1-bedroom apartment, constantly slamming the fucking door. God, like why is it so difficult to just gently shut your front door? I don't even understand. I'd say like every 2 months or so, the girlfriend, so not the one who has the apartment, but just the girlfriend, we would see her sitting out on our front steps for literally like 10 hours straight, all her stuff thrown out the front door. Everyone shares all of the walkways. And so people were always complaining that her crap was thrown everywhere, and it makes the apartments like look so trashy and just like shit. It was like later last summer. Doug and I were walking out the front door, and we were gonna go pick up some dinner. This specific day, I remember being so hot and so sunny, and this girl has been sitting on the stairs literally all day. Like, we kept looking out the window and we would see her sitting out there, and all her stuff is thrown out the front door, and she's just crying. And it's gotta be like 100 degrees outside, and the sun is like directly beaming on her. Finally, I was like, "Are you okay? Do you need anything?" And immediately this girl starts sobbing. And I'm like, oh my God, like, okay, it's okay, like, calm down, like, what happened? And obviously I got the gist that our downstairs neighbor had like kicked her out of the apartment. And so I told the girl, complete stranger, by the way, I was like, look, we will be back in like 20 minutes. When we get home, if you want, you can like come sit in our apartment for a little bit to get some water and like get out of the sun, because this girl has been baking in the heat for like literally 10 hours. We get in the car to go get our food, and Doug is like, literally, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why did you just invite a stranger into our apartment? And I was like, it's fine. Like, what's the worst that can happen? We're gonna give her like some water and, you know, just let her cool off and she'll be fine. So we come back and we invite her inside, give her some water. We like got extra food so we could give her some dinner, and we're just talking, and she starts telling us that the reason she got kicked out was because her and then our downstairs neighbor were play fighting in front of the two boys. And their play fighting was that they were like hitting each other. And then eventually that escalated into they actually were like beating the crap out of each other with coats and belts, and or not coats, with coat hangers and belts, like beating each other in front of the children. Tells me all the time, like, they would constantly get in fights. That's why she was always getting kicked out. And so I was like, well, is there anything we can do to help? Like, would anything, you know, make you feel better or whatever? And she was like, oh, I would love to take a shower. And a complete fucking stranger is in our house. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. Like, you can go use our shower. Go take a shower. It's no big deal. She takes a shower. Doug is so mad at me. He's like, oh my God, you just invited, not only did you invite her in our house, and she ate our dinner, now she is in our shower. We didn't really know what to do. We kept asking her, like, so do you have a friend who can, like, place you can go? Like, is someone gonna pick you up? What are you gonna do? And she's like, oh yeah, I have a friend who can come get me after work. And I'm like, okay, no big deal. But we never asked like when. We just assumed it would be like a normal work day. And I think she came into our apartment around like, I don't know, maybe 6 o'clock, but it was between like 5 and 6 at night. We just didn't really ask like when someone was going to pick her up. So we just turned the TV on and we were watching the first 48. And we've been watching it like for hours at this point. I mean, like, she was not leaving. So eventually Doug and I are texting and we're like, dude, we got to get this girl like out of our apartment. And we were just like too afraid, I guess, to say like, hey, glad we could help you for a little bit, but you need to go. We asked her if she had someone, her friend, like, hey, when is your friend going to come get you? And she said her friend did not get off of work until 11:30 at night, and then would have had to like drive in and come get her. I mean, the girl would have been in our apartment till like 1 in the morning. We then said, well, okay, where is your friend's house? Like, we were just going to drive her somewhere because we wanted to get rid of her. We find out that her friend's house or apartment or whatever is literally like 45 minutes away in the absolute ghetto. Like, you do not, like, it's a scary place. Like, you don't want to go there. And so since we had been watching the first 48, we were like, maybe we should tell someone like what we're doing, you know? So I grabbed my phone and I go into our bedroom and I like locked myself in the bed, in the walk-in closet, and I'm like whispering on the phone, and I'm calling Doug's mom, and I'm like, hey, just wanted to let you know, like, we have this girl in our apartment, and like explaining the situation, and we're gonna go drive her to her friend's house, like out past the airport in the ghetto. And I'm like whispering this, and all of a sudden Doug's mom is like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're an idiot. Why do you have this person in your house? This is ridiculous. I am calling the cops. While I had been having this conversation with my mother-in-law, all of a sudden Doug and I hear like screaming and fighting downstairs in the parking lot. And I'm like, oh my God, the cops need to come right now. Because I know it's her, and I know it's the downstairs neighbor, and I know that they are like going at it in the parking lot. So we call the police, and she didn't have anything in our apartment. So like when she walked out the door, like, you know, she was outside. So we quick locked the door, shut all the blinds. We just like tried to pretend that it never happened. We ended up finding out that night that like the cops made her leave. She couldn't stay there. In the course of the evening when we were talking, I stupidly gave her my phone number, like in case she ever would need anything. And so she has my phone number. So we are getting ready to go to bed, and I walk into our bedroom, and Doug is just like sitting on our bed with his hands crossed in his lap, just sitting up perfectly straight. And I walk in the bedroom, and he looks at me and he goes, I am responsible for our family's safety. You will never make decisions like that again. He was so mad at me for letting this stranger into our house. Oh, and also in the course of our conversations, she told me that she has beaten every girl that she's ever been with, like just beaten the shit out of them. Oh my God, like this girl's been in our house. Like she knows like what we have, and like, you know what I mean? It told us that I think it was actually the two of them at one point got in a fight. So the downstairs neighbor and the girlfriend got into a fight and started lighting each other's stuff on fire. Like, oh my God, this person was in our house. Anyway, we go to bed. Tomorrow's a new day. So the next morning I wake up and I look at my phone, and I have like 3 text messages, and they're all from this girl, and they're saying, oh my God, I'm so sorry to have stormed out last night. Someone called the cops on us. You know, I had to go sleep on a park bench. Whatever else she said, I don't remember. Well, I didn't even answer the text messages. I was like, I am not getting involved in this anymore. And so I walk into the living room, and we live on the 2nd floor. I went and I pulled the blinds open, and I just was looking outside, and I look out the window, and literally the girl is standing on the sidewalk looking up into our apartment, watching me. And I'm like, I dropped the blinds so fast, ran into the bedroom. I'm like, oh my God, Doug, oh my God, oh my God. And literally we just grabbed our shit and we snuck out of the house, and we just didn't come home for like a day because we did not want to be there. And that was the first altercation that started everything. I probably could keep talking about her. I have the story of when she started her apartment on fire, and a few other times that we have called the cops on them, because we've called the cops on them several times. That is the first story, the first incident with our downstairs neighbor, who is the actual devil. So I guess moral of the story is fuck politeness, as they say on My Favorite Murder. Yeah, so I learned a valuable lesson that day, and I will no longer be inviting homeless strangers into our home. I think I'm just going to end it here. If you want to hear more stories, I am more than happy to include them. I also have the story that I can tell of Doug and I when we went canoeing down the river and crashed into a spider's nest. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me while I share the story about my devil neighbor. I mean, I realized this story was mostly about the girlfriend of the devil neighbor, but I mean, it really like wouldn't have happened if our neighbor didn't live there. So I really feel like it just all comes back to her. Like, this is just really all her fault. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!